All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of TA Tech News Weekly. I'm your host, TA Tech, and we are joined today by Saran from Saran Light. How are you, man?
Apologies if you can hear planes in the background, but yes, thank you, Taylor, for having me on again. Always appreciate coming here.
Yeah, man. Awesome to have you on. We did have you on season one, I believe, or two.
Yeah, season one.
Um,
Yeah.
And so I said, I got to bring them back. It's iPad season. It's
Yeah.
Google I/O. Man, listen, so much has been happening the last week or so, and
And then
it's
WWDC next
crazy.
month as well. Like tech season
Yeah,
is upon us. Yeah.
WWDC.
Hmm.
The only thing we haven't seen is word about Samsung event. Curious to see what's going to happen with that. But man, how have you been? Been going on? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I've been good. Obviously this week is quite busy for me because we have new iPads dropping. I plan to review the Air, so I'm just like planning my
Oh, okay.
videos. Probably like just comparison videos. Like iPad Air versus iPad 10 versus iPad Air 5, Air 4. Just tons of comparison videos because those evergreen videos. They'll get views over time. So yeah, just gonna
Yeah,
do a bunch of videos on the Air 6.
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. What are your thoughts on these iPads? What
Yeah.
are your thoughts between the
I've only
Pro
reviewed.
and the Air?
Yeah. So the Air, if I'm being honest, unless it somehow like blows me away when I get it, but I
Yeah,
doubt that. I don't think it's worth buying. I think you should just buy the Air 5, which is available for less now. Or
right.
even if you don't need the M series chipset, get the Air 4 or the iPad 10 as well. Like there's so many great options that are older and
Yeah,
basically do the same job. Like unless they announce big things for iPadOS 18, which we'll see next month. But right now the Air is kind of useless. The Pro's nice, I guess, but I just wasn't excited by these iPads. I saw your video with Dave, and you were also disappointed, kind of. And
yeah,
I could share. Yeah,
yeah,
we had the same thoughts basically, in that I felt like Apple could have done more with these iPads, but
yeah,
yeah, they're fine, I guess. They're just fine.
yeah. And we talked about it too. I felt like the overall event was like meh compared to other ones. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but like I I kind of would love to see something that wasn't really talked about, something that surprised us. And we didn't really get that. We knew what was coming. We knew everything, pretty much everything about the new iPads, new Apple
I guess
Pencil, and
M4 was the only surprise in quotations, but like
yeah, yeah,
I've stopped being excited by these like M's. It was like Apple just gives us vague graphs saying, "Oh, it's this much faster," but like M2, M1 is still awesome. Like I'm still using an M1 MacBook Air completely
yeah,
fine. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's hard to get excited.
So I asked Dave this, but I want to ask you, what are your thoughts of what's to come for the iPhone 16 lineup? Seeing M4 is out, um, seeing the new design of the iPads and stuff like that. What are you expecting from iPhone 16?
I feel like I think like the rumors are pointing towards. I think AI is going to be the big focus, and I think it'll make up for the lack of hardware changes because, like, I think we've heard about what a new button, exciting.
Hmm.
Also, I think the pros are getting slightly bigger. Not really revolutionary stuff, but if they give us
Right.
like really cool AI features in iOS
Yeah.
18, I feel like that could make up for it. So I'm hoping we see that because, like, in terms of being a smartphone. I would say like
Hmm.
Samsung and Google are leading the pack right now. The amount of like AI
Oh
features
yeah,
and like
definitely.
convenience they offer is like
Dude,
insane. So the iPhone, yeah,
Google is doing something like, out of this world with AI.
yeah.
There's so many features that are on Android 15 that Android 15, 14, that I still wish would come to um, iOS and Apple devices in general. That whole thing with the assistant answering for you and stuff like that, I think is like amazing. I mean, I mean, I'm sure you agree that we all get phone calls and stuff that we're like, should we answer this? Should
Yeah,
we
the
not?
that exactly. Yeah.
So it's like, I wish I had something um that could help me with that. And I mean, yeah, there are third party applications that you can get, but something native to iOS would be fantastic. Um
Yeah.
Now I
And also
know
the
that
AI
you're not.
wallpaper feature, that's also really cool.
Yeah,
You know how like you give it a prompt and it creates you a wallpaper? That's amazing. I want that
yeah,
on the iPhone. Well, that would be
yeah,
incredible.
yeah. I was gonna ask you um what what have you seen on an Android side that you'd like to see on iOS besides like we were just talking about the whole phone call thing and stuff?
I guess I so when I was so I used to use Android quite a lot, and back in the day, I was a huge like customizer. I would customize my phone and stuff. And then when I moved
Mhm.
to iOS, I kind of stopped doing that. But I don't know, part of me kind of wants at least like native theming on iOS. I think that's something that Apple needs to add because it's so annoying changing
Yeah,
every individual icon with shortcuts. Like it's so frustrating. So
yeah,
if they gave
yeah,
us like
yeah,
icon packs natively, I think
yeah.
it's time. So yeah, that's probably what I'm waiting for.
That's what I said in one of my videos on TA on the main channel TA Tech.
Yeah.
Um, I think that uh, there was an app that could potentially make iOS look like Vision OS. And I think that
Oh,
if Apple were to give us an option of how we want our to look like in terms of like that, like either have a circular design or uh the original design. I think if we could go back and forth like that, I think that would be cool. What you
yeah.
were saying with icon packs and stuff like that, I think that would be cool. Give us a little bit more of customization of uh different colors and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah,
Maybe
another great
even.
thing about the Pixel, the Material U thing, how like based on the wallpaper, it extracts those colors and it just adds that to the whole OS. That is
Yeah,
so nice. That
yeah.
is very nice. iOS needs that
Another
more.
thing that we had, like, my god, iPhone, like, 4 days, I can't remember the OS, but
Yeah.
remember back when they had this, like, glossy, really depth effect to it, and you could, like,
Oh, yeah,
see the
yeah, yeah.
shadow in the background?
Yes, yeah.
I'd love to see
Skeuomorphic, right?
that come back.
That's the name for
Yeah,
it. Skeuomorphic. Yeah. That
yeah.
would be nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Dude, like,
And it's
that
weird actually
was.
because you know the action button like UI that kind of
Yeah,
held back to that skeuomorphic design, but it's only just for that. Like everything else is, I don't know, it's a bit of a mess design wise right now. But
yeah,
I think
yeah.
like a redesign like we saw for macOS like a few years ago for with Big Sur, something like that, like a complete
Yeah,
redesign
yes,
would be very
exactly,
nice. Yeah,
exactly. I would love that. I would love that.
yeah.
Because I love the Mac OS, look and feel. So I would really love to see that come into iPhone. It's not that it's not possible. I just don't think they've come around to do it yet, and that's
The
kind of
thing is
sad
though,
for
like
me.
apart from the AI features, like I feel like there's nothing they can add really software-wise except from like customization. And I feel like we've started to
Right.
see that because like they gave us the home screen widgets, now the lock screen, like custom they're slowly going basically Android and iOS are slowly becoming the same, I feel. Like
I've
it's
said
yeah,
this. I've said this, and I'll say it again. The only thing that will be different eventually is the way the software looks.
yeah.
when it comes to design, about a year or two, we're gonna see that uh, dot in the
Yeah, the
middle of
pinhole iPhone.
the
Yeah, yeah,
pinhole cameras. I feel like all phones are going to be the same, and the only way to tell a difference is going to be the software. And that I even question because it, just the way everything's going, especially on the Android side, like, I mean, yeah, you can tell uh different things from a Samsung to a Google phone to a Huawei phone, but still, I feel like it's all similar. And for a person
yeah.
who doesn't know, they're just gonna say it's the same thing. You know?
Yeah, I mean, there's like an overarching like not issue, I guess, but like phones have just matured and like I
Yeah,
guess that's what I guess that's why like companies are trying to chase the next big thing. Like Samsung tried the foldables thing, Apple's trying Vision OS and Vision Pro, but now we have AI and AI pin devices. Like everybody's trying to find the next big thing, but I feel
yeah,
like the problem is the smartphone is just so good, it's so convenient. Like
yes,
it's
yes.
gonna be hard to replace it or like supersede it in some way.
Oh, definitely. I think Google should take from Apple.
Ooh, okay, okay. Uh, I think actually no. I was gonna say the ecosystem, but I feel like they've, I guess, better integration. But okay, I don't know. I haven't used the Google tablets in a while, but when I last used that, my brother had like a Galaxy Tab S, one of them back in the day, and the software was horrendous. Like
Oh,
Android
dude.
just keeps doing tablet software.
Listen,
So if there's one thing they need to fix, it's just copy the iPad. Just give us better software. Like the
yeah,
iPad, I know
yeah,
we complain about the iPad being too limited, but like as a tablet, it does the job. So I want
yes,
Google to catch up in that aspect.
yes. One thing that I would really like to see, um, and this is kind of twisting it, but one thing I'd really like to see is something like that coming
Oh
to
yeah.
Apple.
Oh
I
yes, yes.
think, dude, I think
The
that,
iPhone. Imagine like having an iPhone dock and you just put it in and boom, and then it just displays because the A17
dude,
Pro is like
seriously.
on par with the M1 or something, right? The benchmarks. Like it's
Yeah,
about the same as the M1. So it can technically run macOS if they give it
yeah,
macOS.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I honestly think it's all there.
Yeah.
Uh, and they just don't do it.
Because they
One
want you to buy
thing,
everything. They want you to collect all of them, just like Pokemon cards. They just want you. They
yeah,
don't want you to buy.
exactly.
They don't want you just settling with an iPhone. They want you to buy the iPad, the Mac, everything.
Yeah, yeah, and that's just, bruh. You know what? Like, I used to have an iPad, but then bought a MacBook, and I wasn't using my iPad. So you know what? I sold it to a friend. I'm like, you keep it, and now he's not even using it because he
Oh
got
my god.
one of the Pro Max phones. Because
Oh, okay, okay, yeah.
yeah, he had, uh, I think he went from a regular Pro to the Pro Max. And actually, now he's back on the Pros because he's like, yeah, Pro Max is way too big for me. But
I'm a Pro Max guy forever.
he was just like, like he was using it for a while, but then he's like, yeah, no, my phone's big enough. I don't need um something bigger, and another thing to lose potentially because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
I understand that.
so it's like, but needless to say, like, I honestly think that would be cool. Are you looking for a streaming platform that is super simple to use, straightforward, and you don't need to install any programs on your computer? Well, StreamYard is just for you. It is a super simple web based browser that you can go on. You sign in, you put your YouTube title, description, pick a thumbnail if you want to have it created, or upload one that you've created yourself and go live. It is that simple, just a few clicks, and you're there. And the best part of it all is that you can customize StreamYard with logos, backgrounds, banners, and so much more. Use the link in the description to sign up today and let me know what you guys think of StreamYard in the comment section down below. One thing that I would like to see, and we've been hearing about too, is HomePod with a screen. I
Yes.
don't think, dude, this is a long shot, but I don't think Apple should do that. I think Apple should create a HomePod that gives us access, like the Google speakers,
Mm.
to put our tablet magnetically onto the
Oh,
speaker.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, a dock would
That,
be amazing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
yeah,
but I would say one thing, like I can see the big use case I can see for a like HomePod with a screen is, like elderly parents. I feel like they might just I feel like for them the iPad is just a way to like FaceTime and casually to check a few things. So like imagine a simplified UI where it has just, FaceTime, the cool apps basically.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like it's not hard to use. They just have to click one button and that HomePod with a screen can instantly connect them to their family and friends. That's like the only
right,
use case I could
right,
see. But I still would prefer the dock idea, your idea. Yeah, that would be amazing.
yeah. So Google I/O is today. Um, have you ever watched Google I/O or any Google event?
I believe I watched one or two, but I got bored. I'm sorry.
Gotcha,
the the
gotcha.
the Apple sheep within me is coming out,
Y-
but
Yeah,
Google just
I
can't
was gonna
present.
say
They just can't
you
present
and
things
Taylor
well. I'm
some
sorry.
sex sound like best friends, huh? No, man. No, I feel you. I feel you. I watch all events for the hell of it.
Fair enough.
Just to see what's gonna be coming. But my favorite event is always gonna be an Apple event.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just something that they do that just gets us hooked in and want to watch it.
So
Google event.
another thing I
Go
hate
ahead.
about like Google events is that the embargo, they lift it the second the event begins. So like like so for every time the new Pixel
You're my
comes
new
out,
best
yeah.
friend.
Every time the
You're
new
my
Pixel
new
comes
best
out,
friend.
1 second later,
How
MKBHD's new videos out. Like, why would I watch the
you
event?
have you have no freaking idea how many times I've said this in videos.
It's so
No
stupid.
idea. Dude, seriously, like the event is starting and all of a sudden I'm getting blown up with notifications
Yeah,
of
exactly.
people with the thing. I think that they should wait until afterwards because
Yes. Why have an
who
event if
the
you're just
heck
gonna lift the embargo? I don't understand.
excuse my language, but who the hell wants to watch a full hour or two event if you can just go and watch a 5 to 10 minute video or
Exactly,
whatever people
exactly.
do.
Yeah.
Like, wait until after the event. It bothers me so much that
So
they
many
do
Android
that.
companies just get this wrong. I don't know.
Samsung
Samsung as well, I think, right? Or no, do they do
Samsung's
it?
the same way.
Yeah.
Samsung's the same way. The only one that doesn't do that is Apple. And
Yes.
I don't know if it's something with their contracts or what, but something needs to
So
change
that works because
because
everybody's attention is on the event. Like that's the thing. Like Samsung and Google, I don't understand how they benefit from this. Why spend money like inviting everybody, having a massive event if you're just gonna make the create like you're just gonna drop the embargo as soon as the event
exactly,
begins. I don't understand this. It makes no sense.
exactly, dude. And then what about these people that have KBHD? I don't know if you saw a week, the day of the Apple event. The Apple event was just ending, and he
Yeah,
posted
Pixel.
a video of the Pixel 8a.
Yeah,
I'm like,
actually, I
what?
don't understand that as well. Like, so the Pixel 8a was supposed to release at I/O, but they were like, okay, you know what? We're just gonna crash the Apple event hype. Let's just drop it right now. Like, what? I don't understand this.
Dude, this happens every year. This happens every year. And I'm just like, what? I
Yeah,
mean,
Google's marketing team. I
what?
don't know what they're thinking. I have no idea.
Man,
Uh,
it's crazy. It really is. Um, so what are your thoughts? I mean, I know you said you really didn't know much about the Google event and stuff. Have you seen
Yeah.
Marquez's video about the 8A or any
Yeah, I've
video
seen the
about the
Pixel
8A?
8A coverage. It looks nice. It's a decent. I mean, the A series always like they're just dependable phones because
Yeah,
they like get the like they have a nice they have a good price to power ratio, I guess. But the
yeah,
problem is,
yeah,
like Marquez brought up in that video, um, the Pixel 8 has come down in price, and
yes,
it kind of now competes with the 8A. So
yep,
yeah, I don't know. I don't. To be honest, I was talking to a friend about this. I feel like
yeah,
they could go back to basics with the A series, like even more, like strip it down even more. Like I don't think we
yep,
need dual cameras. Maybe just go back to the old 12 megapixel sensor. You know the one like the really like the one that they had in the 6A I think last, and then the 7A
right,
switched to a new sensor. But go back to that single camera. Maybe even switch back to like a 90 hertz panel because I don't think the main target demographic for the A series really cares about having 120 hertz. So maybe
right,
drop that down. I you could also I know the tensor chips aren't great, but I don't mind if they didn't use the latest chip inside. Like maybe go back, like keep the G2 or whatever the last one was. But yeah,
yeah,
basically, I
yep,
feel like they should get it even cheaper. Like it was three
yeah,
hundred dollars, I think originally the 3A, 300.
yep,
I think that was right. That was perfect
yeah,
price. Yeah.
yeah. I agree. I agree. There was I can't think if it was Marquez or somebody else that was just like, you're better off getting the pro lineup or whatever. But I honestly don't think so. I mean, I think Pixel 8A, yeah, it could have, it could have issues, whatever. But I honestly would go for an A series because I mean, if you really think about it, they are cheaper than the other lineup. So I think for me, and I've always said this, it's always about software versus hardware. I'd rather
Yeah.
have something um that updates every so often than get the latest hardware thing. Because think about it this way: how much of that hardware are you going to use on a regular basis? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Like,
And also, like, I know that people complain about the tensor chips being really bad and overheating and stuff, but I had a 6A for a while and it did the
yeah,
job. Like, it was a really good phone. I know that, like, on paper, it was like on par with a iPhone 10s or something like that. Like, it was not
yeah.
great, but it's fine. It still does the job. I mean, yeah, like you said, they've nailed the software that the hardware
Well,
isn't
they have.
a huge issue. But there is one thing I hate about Pixels, and that is the fingerprint scanner. The fingerprint scanner is trash.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's horrible. And also the 6 had no face
I
unlock,
said
which really annoyed me.
I said this, and even when it came to iPhone, don't get me wrong, I love the fingerprint scanner. I use it a lot on iPhone. But now that we have Face ID, I don't think anything anything competes with that. Not
Yeah,
iris
Face ID is
scanning,
insanely good now.
not bruh, no. Keep Face ID.
Although I do
Use
have an
Face ID
unpopular
for
opinion. I
everything.
have an unpopular opinion. Face ID on the iPhone, awesome. Face ID on the iPads, I actually have an issue with because I feel, I don't know
Ooh.
about the new iPads because they've moved the camera to the landscape orientation, but on the old ones, when I was holding it in landscape, I would block the camera.
Oh
Like, so
yeah.
it would oh, and it's giving me oh, the reaction. I forgot about this. But I would block the camera and it would keep like pestering me saying, "So you're covering the camera, move your hand." But obviously
Right.
with Touch ID, you just you just put your finger on the power button and boom, it works. So I don't know how it is on the new iPads because the new iPad obviously has the camera and the landscape orientation, so it could be better now. But on the old iPad
Yeah.
Pros, that was an issue.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like it just I think that stick to what works. Stick to what works when it comes to that. Um, but yeah, are you going to be watching or covering? I don't know. I mean, you cover more Apple stuff, but do you
Yeah.
plan on covering anything with Google anytime soon? Or
Uh Frankly, no.
Nah, nah,
But
yeah,
to be honest, I'm not.
Apple sheep for the win. Apple
To be
sheep
honest,
for the win.
I'm
I
not
get
like
it.
a I'm not a blind Apple sheep. I like to catch up on. Obviously, I won't be watching the event, but like I'll probably if like Marquez does a video about IO, like recapping what happened, I'd watch it. I'll like hear what's going on. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not so interested about Google that I'm gonna make a video.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I like to talk about it, especially on these podcast episodes, to spice it up a little bit and not
Yeah, yeah.
always be an Apple sheep talking about Apple because, not everybody feels the same
Yeah,
like I
yeah, I
do.
completely
So,
understand. Yeah, that's yeah. I'm not gonna force people
so
to buy Apple. I'm not gonna brainwash them. You can like what you
yeah.
like.
I mean, listen, I've tried. It doesn't work. It does not work. To each their own. I feel like you got to go
Yeah,
with
yeah.
what you think is best for you, and that's it. What did you think about the whole event in general last week with Apple event, and what do you think Google can learn uh, from holding an event in general?
So I would say, so actually, I guess there's a bit. I don't know if it's unpopular, but I would say the gold standard was Apple Live events. Okay, they were like even if they were longer and like they had a bit of like I guess a
Yeah,
bit of yeah, there was a bit of like like they would do the gaming demos and stuff like that. Like there's a bit of
yeah,
waffle in between,
yeah.
but generally they were really engaging
And
because I feel like they were more human in that like how the Apple
exactly,
events right now like they're just
exactly.
overproduced and like polished, which obviously makes sense from their perspective because they don't want
Right.
a Face ID, they don't want iPhone 10 Face
No, I
ID thing happening again. Like they don't want some sort of mishap happening on stage and that becoming a huge
yeah,
meme
yeah.
moment. So I understand why they're doing the over produced,
Dude, I
recorded events, but yeah, the live events were
yeah,
better.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree completely. I think it's time that they brought that back, um,
I
because
really
I
wish the Vision
miss
Pro, the Vision Pro should have been a live event. Imagine the audience reaction.
yes.
Like every time you see the iPhone, yeah,
I
the
don't want to
iPhone
imagine
event,
that.
the
Can you
goosebumps.
imagine dude, can you
No, no, but
imagine the
like
crowd just going on the stage?
no,
Dude,
but
that would be
when
funny.
I rewatched the iPhone, I know obviously a part of it is Steve, and he was amazing at presenting things. But like the audience reaction for the smallest of things, like when he like zooms in and they're like, "Oh my god, what he did that!" Like imagine that for
Yeah,
the Vision Pro, that would have been insane. But
yeah,
we didn't
yeah.
get that.
Yeah,
It's a shame.
that stinks, man. Yeah, and I miss that. It's those little things that and I say it like you can't take anything for granted because it's those little things. As soon as they're gone, you miss it,
Yeah,
and you just wanted to
yeah.
come back, and it's like, bruh. And I really wonder if Apple's gonna bring that back because honestly, um, it's pretty cool. And honestly, here's the thing. I think they should do a little bit of both. Okay.
Yes, yes,
People
I
watch
agree.
people go to Apple Park to watch the event on the big screen, right?
I don't
So
understand that. Like, if they're getting media there, might as well have an actual event. You know?
so show the pre-recorded event, but also show the people's reactions to what they're seeing. I think that would
Oh,
be
I
cool.
see what yeah, actually, that's like a nice compromise. Yeah, actually, I would love to see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's yeah, that's actually pretty good.
You
Although I feel
know?
like they could also, I don't know, I do want to see a bit of because it's not just the audience reaction. It's like the person the person on stage interacting with the audience as well. Like
Yep. Yep.
like Craig will do a joke and they laugh, and then Craig does like a little a quip behind, like back to
Yeah.
them, like stuff like that. That would be really
Yeah.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
I
like
feel like WWDC, that is the perfect opportunity to make like keep that as a live event. Like I
yes.
understand the product stuff
Yes.
because the product stuff are the ones that the mainstream are watching. They want everything to be perfect. But like
Yeah.
WWDC is always like the nerdy event, it's a software event. Like the actual Apple nerds are the ones watching it. So like might as well make
Right.
it a bit more fun.
Right. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. We have the Pixel 8A coming. I mean, what else is there? I don't know. Pixel 9 isn't coming out, right?
Oh,
Or
actually, I
is
just
that?
saw there was a leak of real life images of the Pixel 9.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah, on 9 to 5 we can discuss that for a bit if you the design,
Yeah,
I mean, it looks very
definitely.
similar to the,
Looks actually pretty interesting. So
what are your
Pixel
thoughts on the new
9,
design? Because I'm a bit mixed on it, if I'm being honest. I feel like, it looks I'm not a fan of the sharp corners going to every, like, if I'm being honest, this, like, when we got this with the iPhone 12, I was really hyped and I was like, "Oh my god, this iPhone 5 design is back." But like my brother has the iPhone 11 Pro and I just like held it and it felt so good. Like the curved
yeah,
corners, oh, it's perfection. So I'm not
yeah,
happy that they're now basically copying the iPhone.
yeah, yeah. No, it's bruh. Here's the thing, and I kind of wanted to say this before. Um, in my opinion, I
Yeah.
think that they should drop the camera bump altogether. I
Oh.
mean, I understand that, it's there for a reason, sensors and whatever. But bruh, I feel like if we were to go back in time and get a phone that is completely flush, like, iPhone 4, or,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
even the iPhone, like 6 days, it was
It
just a
wasn't that
small
bad because
bump.
it was tiny. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was very tiny, um, barely noticeable, barely like, you know, in the way.
Yeah.
This, I don't know. I like how they did the camera bar, but
Yeah, I'm
at the
I'm I'm a
same
fan of that.
time, yeah, but
I feel like the Pixel probably has the best one in that it
eh,
doesn't rock because it's like the bar. It doesn't, like, if you, it doesn't wobble around on a table, because it's, it goes across the phone. So that's an advantage. But yeah, I'm
yeah,
just not. I wish they kept the rounder sides. That's the only thing.
yeah.
I am also
So
I am a fan of the three. So yeah, so with the nine, the changing, they've got a regular nine and then a nine Pro and Pro XL. So
yeah,
you have two Pro phones now. I think that's a good move.
right, right,
Because, like, you get the pro
definitely.
features, but you don't have to go for the bigger phone.
So then there's a Pixel 9 2K with 12 gigabytes of RAM, like on the current 8 Pro, and 120 gigabytes of storage. Dual camera offers zero point 0.5 and one time zoom. Pixel 9 and 9 Pro are said to be identical in size, but the entry model, with a 6.24-inch screen has larger bezels than the 6.34-inch Pro, though all three devices have a 120 hertz refresh rate. Yeah, that's all really we know about this device. I mean,
So what's
um,
gonna be the big, do you know, like, what's the big feature with the 9? Is it just a new design? Is, I mean, new in quotations because I mean, it's not that different,
yeah,
but
I mean, from what I saw on Marquez's video, I mean, that really looks about it. I mean, unless they announce something with software and stuff like that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
like that's really about it. I don't know. It kind of looks a little bit more rounded to me. If you look at this picture, kind of looks a little bit more rounded to
Ye
me.
yeah, kinda,
I don't
but,
know.
I guess it has, like, the 15 Pro design, right? Like, where the edges are slightly rounder? Like, it's like a
Yeah,
flat chassis
yeah,
with the, I guess it's a good compromise, but I'd still
yeah,
prefer, like, a completely rounded, like, I think the 8 right now has, like an iPhone 11-esque round chassis, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's really nice. But,
yeah.
they want, obviously they can only, like, they can, what they have to do is just keep changing the design ever so slightly every year. And yeah,
Right,
uh, like
right.
Apple eventually is gonna go back to the rounded chassis, and then we're gonna get excited by that. We'll be like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they did that." And
It's
then a few
about
years down the
time.
line, back to flat sides, just a cycle.
Yeah, yeah. Um, One thing that iOS I feel really needs, and again, I think that hardware wise it's there. They just need to turn it on,
Yeah.
is reverse wireless charging.
Yes. Oh,
Dude,
I I think I talked to Dave about this. He's not a fan, I think, but I would
yeah,
love to see this because in a pinch, charging your
bruh,
AirPods with the back of your phone, that would be incredible. Even if
dude,
it's like obviously it's not going to
listen.
be very powerful, but like you can quickly give your AirPods a top up. Like that would be insane.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, are you really going to charge something from 0 to 100? No,
Yeah.
but at least giving it a little bit more juice to get you to the end of the day or whatever, I think would be very cool. One problem that I see on iPhones that I'm not really sure exists on other phones. If you were to let your device char, you know, uh, uh, decharge or whatever, to 0, to turn it back on once you've plugged it in takes forever. And I would
Mm.
really love to see that change. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
yeah,
true. That's true.
2 minutes fine, but to wait 10 minutes or more for that to gain like 20% to actually turn on, bro,
Yeah.
that's pushing it a little bit, I think. I mean, and that's the one thing. That's the actual one reason. I don't know about you, but that's the actual one reason I try to never let my phone get to 0%. I
Yeah,
know
same, same.
people talk about like, the whole cycle count and stuff like that.
I can't be
But
asked to
dude,
like
I
maintain
cannot.
it between 20 and 80. Like, but like just live your life. It doesn't matter. Like, just live your life
Exactly.
till the
You're gonna
battery
get a new phone.
is
You're gonna
needed.
get a new phone anyway. Like your
Exactly,
phone's gonna
exactly,
have some kind of problem. You're gonna need a new phone anyway. Use it, abuse it the way you need to. That's it.
exactly,
You
exactly.
know.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Um.
But I used to actually be one of those people who like, oh, I can only charge my phone once per day. I can't put too many cycles on it. But then at one point, I'm like, you know what? I just don't care. Like, if I need to top up, I'm just gonna charge it. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Exactly. Exactly. Dude, I charge my. I don't know about you, but I charge my stuff every single night before I go to bed, regardless of what it's at.
Yeah, yeah,
Because I
same.
always want to make sure that I'm gonna be good for the next day. You
Yeah.
know, I don't want to be. Listen, I know that there's like massive chargers out there and stuff, and I have a few, but um, I don't want to be carrying that every day, all day. You know what I mean? Like my pockets are barely big enough for what I have already.
Especially
So
my 14 Pro Max as well. I don't know which iPhone do you have, but my 14 Pro Max has
right
just
now I have the
become.
13 Pro.
So how's that doing?
Um,
Because my 14 Pro Max has become horrific, like battery wise. Like I have to
it's
charge it
all right. It's all
twice, I
right.
would
I
say.
I wish I had the 14. But I'm still rocking the 13 Pro. It's like I said,
Honestly, I
okay,
would
but
say the 13 Pro was the last like amazing Pro phone. Like I kind
yeah,
of regret
yeah, yeah,
getting rid of my Pro Max. My 13 Pro Max, so the year I had it, the battery life was amazing. Like it just
yeah,
got me through a day
yeah.
without any issues. The 14 Pro, the Pro Max, like once added
So
the always on display, and I don't know what they did, but the battery life just wasn't as good anymore.
yeah. No, the only problem, and I'm seeing it again. The only problem that I've had is people telling me that when I go onto speakerphone, it sounds much worse than if I were to hold it to my ear or whatever. And I
Oh,
think that's
okay.
just I think that's just a me problem because I barely look at the bottom and it's always dirty. And
Oh,
so it's like,
okay, okay.
so I think that's just a me problem. But that's one thing, and actually that's a good thing to talk about is if you ever have that problem, make sure at least once a week or once every other week, check your ports and everything, clean it out with a toothpick and you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
My mom said that I saved her $2,000 because I wanted a new phone, and my brother-in-law was like, "This is your problem. You don't need a new phone." I'm like, "God damn it! I was this close to getting it."
You just But, I'll be
But
honest, like, so I probably will be upgrading this year, but the problem is I don't think I'm
I want
upgrading
to.
out
I
of
want to.
interest. I don't think I'm upgrading out of like, "Oh, I'm so excited for the 16." I'm upgrading out of necessity because the 14 Pro Max
Yeah.
battery life has
Yeah.
become like, if I think
I
about
don't
it, the battery is the reason I think a lot of consumers are still, like, consistently
yeah.
upgrading. Like, I feel
Yeah.
like I could make like, the 14 has everything I need a phone to do. I can't really think of anything that the 16 will add. I mean, I know there's gonna be AI features, but some of them will come to the 14 as well. So,
Right.
you know,
Right.
battery life is really the only thing that will get me to upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's like me. Um, I mean, this is still fine. It works. Does majority of the things. If I were to upgrade though, especially this year, and I think I say this all the time, I don't think I would go for like what came out this year. I think I would go for something that came out the year before. Because
Fair enough. Yeah, yeah.
I think when it comes to that, you know, prices always hike every year. And the things that came out a year or two prior always go down in price. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that
And phones
honestly,
depreciate
like I
real
said,
fast as well.
oh yeah, yeah.
Those
And
like the technology in general just depreciates so fast, which is a
yeah,
blessing and a curse.
yeah,
It's a curse in that if you're like us, you but because I usually have to buy things when they come out to review. So when
mhm,
I try to sell it, like the value's just gone down immediately. But obviously, it's a blessing for those who don't need to buy it on day one because you can get, last year's, for example, like the iPad I were talking about, like you can get the M1 iPad Air for really cheap now, and it does like
yeah,
98% of the
yeah,
same things as the
yeah,
M2.
yeah, exactly, exactly. I think honestly, for me, always I've said it, software over hardware, always. The hardware might be cool, and I mean, especially when it comes to cameras and stuff. But again, think about how much you're gonna actually use it before you get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I want to thank you, man, for taking some time to talk
Thank
to
you.
us today. I really appreciate it. It's been fun. I
Yeah.
love watching your videos.
Catching up with the Apple sheeps. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, man. So where can people find you?
uh, Saran Byte everywhere. I try to maintain that. Like, there's no underscores, no, just Saran Byte. You can find me on most platforms. Mostly active on
Gotcha,
YouTube and Twitter. So yeah,
gotcha. And guys, we
thank you
hope
for
you
having me
guys
on.
enjoyed this episode of the TA Tech News Weekly. And with that being said, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye bye.